That is biological classification. Now, as we have studied in the previous chapter, classification is a process in which organisms they are placed into the groups on the basis of similarities and dissimilarities. So here now we are going to discuss contribution of several scientists towards classification. So let's start with it. Biological classification. At the start of civilization, at the dawn of civilization, attempts were made to classify the organisms, but the criteria which were utilized for the classification, they were not scientific. क्राइटेरियाज जो क्लासिफिकेशन के लिए यूटिलाइज किए गए दे वर नॉट साइंटिफिक. ऑर्गेनिज्म को क्लासिफाई किया गया जस्ट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ देयर यूसेज. Yes, usage that how the organism they can be utilized as a source of food, for shelter or clothing. So we can write it down here. In the early attempts of classification, scientific criteria they were not used. Classification was performed just on the basis of usage of organism, usage as food, for shelter and clothing. For the first time, scientific attempt of classification was performed by the scientist Aristotle. Yes, scientific attempt for classification of plants, it was performed by the scientist Aristotle. Aristotle divided the organisms into two groups, that is plants and animals. Divided organism into two groups, that is plants and animals. Plants, they were further divided into the three categories. They were further divided into the three subgroups, and this division was on the basis of morphological characters. So plants, they were further divided on the basis of morphological characters, on the basis of habit. Habit, that means body type of organism. So I'm going to write these three groups: herbs, shrubs, and trees. In the case of herbs, there is presence of soft, flexible stem. Herbs, stem which is present, that is soft, it is flexible, right? In the case of the shrubs, there is presence of hard, woody stem. Morphological feature is woody stem. And in the case of trees, there is presence of stout, thick stem. Yes, you all might be knowing that thick stem is known as trunk. Stout, thick, woody stem. Yes, and this woody stem is known as trunk. Now looking into the height of these group of plants, herbs generally they have height less than 2 meters. Height is less than 2 meters. Shrubs, they are going to have medium height. They have medium height, and trees generally they are tall. Now, along with the classification of plants, Aristotle has also performed classification of animals. He divided the animals into two groups on the basis of RBC. Divided the organisms on the basis of RBC. RBC, that is red blood cells. If the red blood cells they are absent, for absent I am utilizing this minus sign. This group of animals is known as enema. Right? If red blood cells they are present, for present I am using positive sign. This group of organism represents enema. Right? So this was the classification system which was given by Aristotle. First scientific attempt for classification. Now in the past, several scientists, they have divided organisms into plants and animals. But for the first time, plants and animals, they were given the status of kingdom. Yes, plants and animals, they were given the status of kingdom by the scientist Linnaeus. So it means Linnaeus created two kingdoms. One is plantae, includes all plant. Another one is animalia, includes all animals. So it means Linnaeus created two kingdom, or you can say he gave two kingdom classification system. So now we have to deal with two kingdom classification system, which was given by the scientist Linnaeus. Two kingdom classification system given by father of taxonomy, that is Linnaeus. Two kingdom which he generated, which he created, that is plantae, which includes all the plants. Second one is animalia, which includes all animals. So now first of all we will see on which basis, on which characteristic this distinguishment was done by Linnaeus. First characteristic which he utilized, that is cell wall. In the case of the plantae, cell wall is present. Yes, I am writing positive sign for present. And in the animalia, in the animal, cell wall is absent. Right? Second feature which was utilized, that is locomotion. Locomotion, that is movement of organism. In the plantae, locomotion is absent, and in animalia, it is present. Next one now. The next feature which was utilized, that is mode of nutrition. How these organisms, they obtain their food. Mode of nutrition. In the case of the plants, you know they have the ability to synthesize their own food. They have ability to synthesize their own food. This category of organisms, they are known as autotrophs. Plantae consist of autotrophic organisms. Animals, they are dependent on others for the food. Food synthesizing capacity is absent, so this group of organisms are heterotrophic in nutrition. Now the next feature which was utilized, that is response to external stimulus. How they can sense the stimulus and respond to it. Response to external stimulus. In the case of animals, response to external stimulus is well developed. In the case of plants, organisms, the stimulus is poorly developed. So all of us, we know, in the case of animals, response to stimulus is well developed because they are going to have nervous system. Last feature which was utilized. Last feature, that is contractile vacuole. You might have studied in the previous classes about the contractile vacuole. Contractile vacuole is involved in osmoregulation. It maintains osmolarity of organism. It maintains osmolarity of cell. Contractile vacuole in the animals is present, and in plants generally it is absent. Yes. So these are the different criteria. These are the different features which were utilized by the Linnaeus for two kingdom classification system. Now we will see that under the Plantae and under the Animalia, Linnaeus has placed which group of organism? For the Plantae, I am writing P. For Animalia, I am writing A. In the Plantae, in this kingdom, he placed bacteria, fungi, algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. Right? Under the Animalia, he placed protozoan, invertebrates, and vertebrates. Yes. So now after this, we are going to deal with the drawbacks. What are the problems posed by this two kingdom classification system? Now if you look here, if you look at these organisms, yes, among these organisms, can you tell me which organism is prokaryotic? Do you understand the meaning of prokaryotic? Well-defined nucleus is absent. And eukaryotic, well-defined nucleus is present. In all these group of organism, this group, that is bacteria, is prokaryotic. Rest of these groups, they are eukaryotic organism. So he placed prokaryotic and eukaryotic organism together, or you can say the differentiation between the prokaryotes and eukaryotes in this classification system is absent. First drawback, differentiation between prokaryotes and eukaryotes absent, right? Second drawback, among these organisms, bacteria is mainly unicellular and rest of these organisms, they are mainly multicellular. Bacteria is unicellular, rest of the organism mainly they are multicellular. So he has placed simple, that is unicellular organism, and complex multicellular organisms together. So you can say there's no differentiation between unicellular and multicellular organism. No differentiation between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Next one. Among these groups, bacteria and fungi, most of the bacteria and all the fungi, they are heterotrophic. They are dependent on the others for nutrition, and all these group of organisms, they are autotrophic. It means he placed autotrophic and heterotrophic organisms together. No differentiation between autotrophic and heterotrophic organisms. Now, along with these three drawbacks, there are certain organisms which possess features of both plants as well as animal. Certain organisms are there which possess features of both plants as well as animals. This category of organisms, they are known as dual organisms, having feature of both plants and animals. Such organisms, they are known as dual organisms. Now, these organisms, they possess feature of both plants and animals. It means by utilizing the Linnaeus criteria, we cannot place these organisms appropriately in either of group. These organisms, they cannot be placed appropriately in either of group because they show similarities with both the kingdoms. So here now we will discuss dual organisms. I will cite certain examples to explain this. Now, dual organism. One of dual organism is Chlamydomonas. Chlamydomonas possess cell wall. There is presence of cell wall. Along with that, it shows autotrophic mode of nutrition. These two features of Chlamydomonas represents plantae, resembles plant. Along with that, Chlamydomonas possess flagella. Due to the presence of flagella, it can show locomotion, it can show movement. Locomotion. Along with that, it possesses contractile vacuole. Contractile system. Contractile vacuole. These two features of Chlamydomonas resembles animals. Some feature of plant, some feature of animal. This category of organism represents dual organisms. Now the next one, that is Euglena. In the Euglena, cell wall is absent. Cell wall is absent. This feature of Euglena, it resembles animals. Along with that, Euglena show locomotion with the help of flagella, also animal-like feature. But just like the plants, they have the ability to synthesize their own food. They are autotrophic, showing resemblance with plantae. Now, looking into the drawbacks of two-kingdom classification system, there comes the need of a classification system which can overcome these drawbacks, which can overcome this shortcoming. So there comes three-kingdom classification system which was given by the scientist Haeckel. Kingdom classification system given by Haeckel. Haeckel created one new group, one new kingdom, that is Protista. So the two kingdoms, they were already there, that is Plantae and Animalia. One more kingdom was generated. It was created by Haeckel, that is Protista. In the Protista, he placed almost all those organisms which were showing drawbacks, which were showing problem in two kingdom classification system. So he placed all those organisms in Protista which were creating, which were posing problem in two kingdom classification system. Let's see which organism he placed here. He placed the organisms in which morphological complexity and tissue level differentiation is absent. Morphological complexities and tissue level differentiation is absent. He placed here unicellular eukaryotes. Unicellular eukaryotes. This includes protozoa and slime molds. Along with that, he placed here multicellular eukaryotes. Multicellular eukaryotes, but now the tissue level organization differentiation is absent. Here he placed fungi and algae. Also he placed prokaryotes. Under the category of prokaryotes comes bacteria. So under the kingdom Protista, Haeckel placed all these different group of organisms. Yes. Now Haeckel classification system is in front of you. By looking into this classification system, can you tell me positive points of Haeckel classification system as compared to Linnaeus one? Yes. Can you tell me the positive points of this classification system? Yes, see here. Bacteria is prokaryotic and these organisms, they are eukaryotic. So again, the prokaryotic organism and eukaryotic organisms, they are placed together. No differentiation is there. Eukaryotes unicellular, prokaryotes unicellular, they are placed along with multicellular organism. means no differentiation between unicellular as well as multicellular organism. Among these, algae is autotrophic, some of the bacteria is autotrophic, and rest of the organisms, they are heterotrophic. Again, autotrophic and heterotrophic organisms, they are placed together. So no differentiation is there. So please keep in the mind, when Haeckel formed this kingdom Protista, he placed all these three organisms under this kingdom. But if we talk about Protista today, it is booked for only one group of organisms. Yes, can you tell me which group of organism it is? It is unicellular eukaryotic organisms. Yes, are you getting this? Haeckel placed all these three groups under the kingdom Protista. But if we talk about the Protista today, it contains only one category of organism. Which one? That is unicellular and eukaryotic. Now, after the Haeckel three kingdom classification system, let's see four kingdom one. System. Four kingdom classification system, it was given by the scientist Copeland. Copeland created a new kingdom. The name of the kingdom is Mycota. But later on the name Mycota was changed to Monera. So the kingdom which was generated by Copeland, that is Mycota, Mycota name was later changed to Monera. But the name Monera, term Monera was not given by Copeland. It was given by the two scientists, that is Doherty and Allen. Now the kingdom Monera, it is booked for only prokaryotic organism. Yes, just now we have discussed in the prokaryotic organism, well-defined nucleus is absent. So kingdom Monera, it is booked for only one group of organism, that is prokaryotic one, and in this prokaryotic group there comes the bacteria. तो इसका मतलब सबसे पहले बैक्टीरिया को डिफरेंशिएट करने वाला, सबसे पहले बैक्टीरिया को अलग करने वाला, it is not Haeckel, it is Copeland. After the four kingdom classification system, now we are going to deal with five kingdom one. Five kingdom classification system, it was given by the scientist R.H. Whittaker. The new kingdom which was created by Whittaker, that is fungi. Already four kingdoms were there. Plantae, Animalia, Protista, Monera. And now that new kingdom which was created by Whittaker, that is fungi. So new kingdom which was created by him, that is fungi.